Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to another episode, another live show of Lead Like the CEO. And let me make sure that you can hear me. All right, let's double check. Let me make sure. All right, let me know that you can hear me. Drop a hello in the chat. Happy Wednesday. And today I'm streaming in 3 different places. I'm here on LinkedIn, my YouTube channel, Lead Like a CEO. So if you're not there, definitely when you get the opportunity, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And also I am back on Facebook as well. Okay. Come on in, say hello. Let me know how your day is going. And also let me know from 1 to 10, how are you feeling? 10, like you're feeling amazing. And 1, you're like, Shevvy, I'm like barely surviving right now. Okay. And my dog is in the background snoring. So, so you're probably going to hear a dog snoring. So definitely, let me know. And hopefully I can see the chat. But before I get into today's topic, which is sharing with you 3 ways on how you can overcome burnout as a home care agency owner. And this does not pertain only to home care agency owners. This information pertains to any business owner who is in the business, the weeds of their businesses, and doing all the things with life, family, all of it, and you feel overwhelmed, you feel burnt out. So definitely stay tuned. I'm going to share some tips, but also we're going to talk a little bit about the brain science behind stress and how it impacts your brain function. But come on in, say hello. I don't see any comments yet, but I want to make sure that you can hear me the background snoring clearly. So come on in, say hello, friend. Okay, I see one person viewing. Drop in the comment. Let me know. So maybe it's the comment. Maybe it's StreamYard. I'm not sure, but I see someone join. Okay. Oh, that's me. Want to make sure that I am good to go on Facebook as well too. But come on in, guys. Like I said, I am Shevvy Mac. If you're new to my space, welcome. I do weekly lives right here on LinkedIn, which is streamed through to Facebook, and also now my Facebook page as well too at Shevvy Mac. But if you're new here, welcome. I'm going to give it a few seconds, but as y'all come in, I want you to drop in the chat from 1 to 10 how you are feeling right now. Like in your business, are you like, I'm energized, I'm like high energy, I'm loving things, or I'm like one where I'm like barely surviving right now, ready to just kind of throw the towel in, or I'm like right in the middle? Where do you sit on this line of 1 through 10? Let me know in the chat. So come on in, come on in, come on in. And what I'll do in the meantime, I'm going to share a little bit about my story and who I am so you can connect with me. And if you have any questions, by all means, please do reach out. I am Shevvy Mac, a retired Air Force veteran after 22 plus years of serving the United States Air Force. And during my time in the military, I got to travel, I got to explore, I got to do a lot of different things. I deployed 5 times in combat environments in different locations. And what I did in the military was really a lot of service. And the military is all about service, before self. And my primary AFSC, which is my primary job, really was focused on mortuary services. So what that means, I was a mortuary technician, certified mortuary technician, where if someone was deceased, we made sure that that person, that remain was brought back from, if it was in a deployed environment, back to the States. But if it was here in the state or even overseas in Europe, wherever we were stationed at, that person got the proper transition from where they were located in the sense of their uniform, the dress, and all the things back to their home of burial. So awesome. Welcome, welcome, Rochelle, the Slay Queen. Yes, and I love the rose. Thank you for joining me here on LinkedIn. Appreciate you. And like I said, drop in the comments how you're feeling today between 1 to 10. 10 is like, I am feeling amazing. You're like right in the middle, like at 5, like, hey, I'm feeling good, but I probably need a break. And 1 is like, girl, I am trying to survive. Okay. So let me know how you are feeling between 1 through 10. So as I was sharing, I'm a certified mortuary technician while I was on active duty. I was also, I've worked in hotel and restaurant management. I've worked in the fitness center, hosting events for thousands of people. I've done travel events. So I've done a lot of different things. I've also got the opportunity to be an educator, trainer throughout my military career as well too. So love, love, love. I love what I did in the military because I'm a people person. So when it comes to taking care of people, making an impact on the lives of the other, that is my jam. And what I'm doing now that I am like really centered in what I am passionate about, which is really working with mission-driven organizations that are making a big impact in the lives of others. And for me, it's like I want to be in that space to contribute to that. And part of that is because of my mom and the why. Being from South America, Guyana, like I shared before. And if you are hearing this for the first time, great. If you're hearing this for the second, third, fourth, or fifth, even better. Okay, that means you get to learn a little bit more about me and really understand my why behind this. And being, moving from Guyana, South America to the United States in 1991, so over 30 plus years ago, and living in a 1-bedroom home with 7 other siblings and my mom and dad, plus having to use the outhouse for a bathroom. So we didn't have any electricity. So when it comes to resilience, like that was part of my life growing up. But at that time, I didn't know I wasn't aware of the word resilient. Until really joining the military. And that is something that is like ingrained, like being resilient, because again, we're going through life, we're going through all the challenges. So, transition from Guyana and, growing up in Jersey, my mom, being on assistance, again, 8 kids, and then another child came along. And yes, my dad was there supporting, providing, but still that's a lot of kids to support with one income. So my mom, she was an entrepreneur by heart, always from day one, even in Guyana. I remember, outside at our house, our 1-bedroom home, and we would be outside, helping her to prepare things, baskets, weaving, the pastries, all the things, and just like lots of memories. But looking back, it's like, oh man, like my mom was an entrepreneur, and this is where I got my entrepreneur spirit, but also the freedom. I love that freedom aspect of things. And, that's why you started your business, was like the freedom to make your own decisions, to create something that's more impactful. And, you started maybe in your career like I did in the military for 22 plus years. But, going back to that why, and my mom, after being in the United States for X amount of years, she decided to, okay, let me go out and, get a job. And her thing was home health aid. And I remember her studying for that test, and, we were rooting for her again, all 9 kids, praying like, she's going to pass and wishing her well. And she did on her first, opportunity to complete the test. And we were so excited for my mother. Like she was excited because now she is like, she went through the training, she got certified, and now she's doing something which is really taking care of people. She's always been that person where she's always giving back. For her birthday, she will give back, like serve the kids and so forth. And I have, other siblings who are in that space where they're working and supporting, family in needs or young adults with disability. So it just kind of, for me, is bringing everything back into like the one, because sometimes we go out when we need to come in. And for me, it's like, okay, I am in the space and the position that or the direction that I want to continue on for a long time. So that is kind of like going back to the why. And for me, it's even looking back into my childhood, I always wanted to be a teacher, which again, I got that opportunity, but also like being a social worker. So like, again, service of others has always been my thing, because the money will come the more that you serve. So welcome. I wanted to kind of share that. And today I'm going to share with you 3 ways how you can overcome burnout as a business owner, especially as a small business owner, because especially if you're in the home care space, you're dealing with, family members, you're dealing with staff, all the things. But as you're listening to this and you're like, well, Shevvy, I'm not in the home care space. That's okay. What I'm sharing pertains to you as well. So you can still take away the insight and the nuggets that you're going to get today and apply it to yourself as well too. But as I am continuing to share, if you have any questions Oh, by all means, drop them in the chat, okay? And I'm going to be checking on my other platforms to make sure that I don't miss anything. So before I get into the three ways of how you can overcome burnout, I'm going to share some stats. So I did some research because I want to make sure what I'm bringing you is not just what I'm saying, but also I'm sharing this because guess what? I've dealt with burnout, and I'll share a little bit about that, which I have done before, but I'm going to share some more about that later on as well too. So according to Ramsey Solutions, they did a study last year and where they did a interview of a survey of over 1,000 small business owners, and they asked different things from labor, staffing, how they function in burnout, and what they found. And this study was done last year, April. And they found that 42% of small business owners had experienced burnout within that year. And I know that number probably more likely has increased. And a lot of the different factors that contributed to that, and maybe you're experiencing this as well too. So if you're in the home care space, or if you have a business and you have a a team of people who are supporting you, maybe you don't have enough people on staff to support you, because that is going to help you. That's going to mean that means that, hey, now I got to take up the extra work that I don't have people to come in and support me on. So staffing is an issue that's going to pretty much get you into that space of burnout, because now as a CEO, you got to fill that role. And depending on your staff, they may be calling out. Also, they're not developed, so underdeveloped. So yes, you may have the staff. So you have the staff and you may not have the staff. So not having the staff, but not when the staff is underdeveloped, that also impacts your ability to really perform in your role as a CEO, because now you have to go in and provide them with the resources, the training, along with doing the things that you have to do as a CEO. So now you're taking on dual roles or multiple roles where you have staff members that are not developed. And this is where I come into your business to help you to develop your team, so you don't have to focus on coming into the business and helping them to do their job, because guess what? They're trained, they're good to go, they can execute, they can make decisions, all the things. Now you have the capacity to really focus on the things that you need to focus on as a CEO, which will reduce your capacity to burn out, and you have time to really think and process things throughout. So also another factor that can be triggering of, can be a reason why you are experiencing burnout is the fact that you as a CEO is making all of the decisions. Okay. So whether I don't care who you are and what businesses what business you have, if you are the only person making all of the decisions in your business, then that's going to lead you to mental burnout, mental fatigue. Because if you have team members and you're still making all of the decisions, you are still in the weeds of the business, then again, you have to look at, okay, what is going on? What is it that I'm not doing right as a CEO to make sure that my team is competent and also capable and are able to make decisions without me? So these are signs, and there's a lot more different signs that you're probably encountering that have you feeling burnt out. But these are just some things that I wanted to share, because based on that, statistic, that study, 42% of small business owners have had that last year. And more likely, if you have a shortage of staff, you're probably dealing with it right now. Okay. If you have staff members, drop a 1 in the chat. Let me know. I want this to be interactive. So let me know in the chat, or drop a 1 if you have staff. If you don't, drop 0. All right, let me know, because I want to make sure that you're still here. I want to make sure that I'm not talking to myself. Okay. All right. Other factors that may be contributing to the burnout: finance, family. Because remember, as a business owner, you probably still have responsibility. I'm a mom of 3. I have, 3 kids. The youngest is 5. And some days I'm like, girl, even this morning, she was like, I won the battle between her deciding to wear a dress or not. So if you're a mom and you're a business owner, you can probably relate that sometimes, it may not be the work. It might be your home life that is causing you to feel that overextending yourself because of just things that are going on with kids, your partner, the home life, whatever the case may be. So those are things that you might be experiencing as a business owner, which is leading to you being burned out. So it's not just a business, it's not just a family, it's a combination of both, or it could be a combination of just one, especially if, like I said, if you have staff that are not showing up, staff that are not competent, and you are struggling to make things happen. Okay, so hopefully you can still see me and hear me, but I'm not sure. But if LinkedIn is not working, you can catch me on Facebook as well. Okay, let me see, because someone said that it's spinning. So let me know if you can see me, you can hear me. I want to make sure that you can still hear me, because I don't want to just talk here and then it's just like a spinning wheel. Okay. So let's continue on, and hopefully you can hear me clearly. So when it comes to burnout, that means we are under a lot of pressure. Okay. And I've been there. And because, during my time in the military, we're dealing with high stress, we're working and operating in high stress environment, and we still got to show up for the work. We still got to show up for family. We still got to show up for community involvement. There's a lot of things that we had to do. But even if we were stressed, yes, we had breaks. We could take vacation and so forth. But then it's like you came from vacation. It's like you're right back in the throw of things. So for me, sometimes, we know like, hey, we are in the zone, the burnout zone, but we ignore. But let me share very quickly based on the neuroscience, because I want to bring this more into what I'm sharing, so you all can understand when it comes to being stressed and, burnt out, what that does to your brain. Okay. So when it comes to the stress, so think about it. Think about when you are overwhelmed, when you feel like, hey, I am burnt out. What happens? We start making our capabilities, the level of where we operate goes down. Our ability to make decisions quickly goes down. So we start thinking like, what is not working? We look at the negative things. We are focused more on, okay, what's not working, what's not going right in life, and what's not going right in business. So now we are activating the fear brain, so our amygdala. So your anxiety may be up. You may be crashing when you go home. You may be more quick to snap at your team members or your family members or your spouse. So these are all things that you may be experiencing right now as a business owner, because you are under extreme stress, which again leads to you being burnt out. If you can relate, or if you've experienced that before, drop a 2 in the chat. If you have experienced that before, drop a 2 in the chat, because I know I have. Okay. I have definitely experienced that as well. So thank you for joining me, Rochelle, on Facebook. Definitely appreciate you joining me here. Like I said, if LinkedIn is not operating or doing what it's supposed to do, by all means, join me on Facebook or on YouTube as well too. So when we are stressed, we become fearful, okay, which impacts how we operate, how we show up as leaders in our businesses, how we show up in our home life, how we show up for ourselves. So when it comes to stress in the brain, so we have, I will say, I like to call it our memory bank, which is your hippocampus. And this is your hippocampus is part of your emotional brain. So is your fear brain, the amygdala, all of those parts are connected to each other. And with your hippocampus, it's your memory bank, because this is where your short-term memories are stored, which after a while, it goes into long-term memory. But think about it. You have your hippocampus and your amygdala. They're actually not far from each other. So everything that you think about, whether that's negative, especially if you're stressed, we know when we're stressed, we're not looking at the positive things. We're not utilizing, the higher brain. We're utilizing the lower brain, which is, that fear brain, the amygdala, the anxiety. So imagine if you are stressed and you are constantly feeding yourself of what is not going right, which is creating memory in your hippocampus, then all that will funnel from your short-term memory into your long-term memory, which can lead to, again, negative thoughts, doubt, continuous fear, anxiety, depression, and so forth. So this all happens when you are under extreme stress. And I get it. We are resilient. We can go through things, but we have to look at, okay, at what point do I say, okay, let me stop for a second and make a decision? Do I continue to be in this cycle of burnout, or do I make a decision today as a CEO? Because again, as a CEO, you get to make these decisions today, tomorrow, and in the future. Okay. So you get to choose. Do you want to continue to be stressed, overwhelmed, burnt out? Because when you're in that phase of where you're operating in burnout, guess what? It transfers to your team members. Because if you are going at a pace of 100, guess what? You can expect your team members to do the same. You can expect them to show up and push and give their all. But what you're doing, you are actually burning them out as well. And what environment does that create for you and the team? Not good, unhealthy. So here are the 3 ways that you can overcome continuous burnout. Okay. If you're ready, drop ready in the chat. Drop ready in the chat. And thank you for sharing that, Rochelle. She's like a 2 because I've experienced that. So drop ready in the chat if you're ready for me to share. And the reason that I noticed from experience, because your girl was in the ER, woke up, did not even realize how I got to from my house to the emergency room. Like I can't even remember because I was burned out. And I was trying, well, I wasn't trying, I was doing it all. And like most women who are driven, who are ambitious, who are visionaries, guess what? I am you. Doing so much, okay? Doing so much, but I don't want you to get to the point where you end up in the ER like I did. And maybe you have already, but I don't want you to make this a continuous thing, because again, if you don't stop or correct this now, create a new habit, guess what? We want to make sure that you're here. We don't want to make sure that you fall, like drop the D word. And also you don't want to feel like you're having a heart attack or anxiety or depression, because that led to me having anxiety, which again, that's another story. But all right, 3 ways to overcome burnout. 1, these may be simple, but they're necessary. Identify the burnout. Yes, identify the burnout, friend, because so often, just like I did, we're going to continue to operate in that space. Even though we know like something is off because we see the signs, identify the burnout. Look at the signs. And when I say look at the signs, look at how your body is responding. How's your nervous system? Is it like jittery? Is it like, do you feel like when you're walking, like the room is spinning? Do you feel lightheaded? Because these are things that I noticed, but I ignored those signs. Okay. Let me know if you have felt those things before, like during your burnout period, or if you're feeling that right now. Oh, excuse me. Let me know if you are experiencing some type of symptom similar to what I just shared. And if you're comfortable, you may not be comfortable. Maybe you're like, man, I am self-identifying myself right now, which is good, because the key thing is to identify, because we want to make sure that we identify that, hey, I am in a zone of burnout right now. That is number 1. Because if you are having memory loss, that's a sign. Lack of sleep, that's a sign. Increase in fear mindset. So where again, now you're looking at what's not working. That's a sign. Anxiety, that's a sign. Crashing, dizziness, like I mentioned, maybe a loss of appetite. All of these are signs that you're going through burnout. So 1, identify. The second thing that you need to do to overcome burnout as a home care agency owner or a business owner is acknowledge. Because we can identify something, but we don't acknowledge it. Especially if we're looking like, oh, I have this to do, I have that to do, I got the kids. Pause, friend. I want you to acknowledge what you are experiencing right now in this moment. Because what you are experiencing, like I shared, that means your team members might be experiencing the same thing, because how you show up is going to tell them how they need to show up. If you're coming in at 100, working late, coming in early, guess what? They think they have to do the same. I remember on active duty, I would come in early. And again, as the leader, I'm staying late. And one of my NCO would come in early and he was staying late. I'm like, why are you here? Oh, Sergeant Mac, I'm just want to make sure. I said, get out of here. This is an example of how we show up. Our team members think they got to show up. So if you are running raggedy in your business right now because you're trying to hold all the things together, all the pieces together, you don't have the right support, then you need to acknowledge. And when you acknowledge, you need to do something about it. That means you need to take action. Don't just identify it. Don't just acknowledge it. I need you to take action. And when I say take action, these are some questions that I have for you. What other things can you stop? What things can you stop doing today? What things can you stop doing today? Because as a CEO of your business, you don't have to do every single thing. You don't have to make all of the decisions in your business. This is why you hired folks to come in to support you, to execute on your behalf, and hopefully to make decisions on your behalf. Because that is what is great about being the CEO, but also an effective leader, is to be able to show up, empower, and trust, and allow your team to do what they need to do because you hire them for a specific role or position and a duty. All right. So next question, what responsibility can you delegate? Can you outsource or let go completely? Because when you identify what you can delegate, what you can outsource, and what you need to delete, now you're freeing up time from doing things that you probably don't need to do. And see, this is where I come in and help you to really optimize how you run your business, how you lead your team, how you develop your team. And this is one-on-one support that I help you in my business operation blueprint program. Okay. So as you are navigating in this space of burnout, overwhelm, and I share the different things, Rochelle said, you're absolutely right. Yes, Queen. Thank you for saying that. You know, it's not about just showing up in the business and making the money. For me, it's like showing up, making the money, but also taking care of your overall mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Because at the end of the day, what is your ultimate goal? To build a business that's scalable, to build a business that's sellable, to develop and have a team and workplace culture where your team is thriving, but also you is thriving as well too. But you can't do that if you are in a constant cycle of burnout. If you're constantly getting sick, if you're constantly going to the ER, if you're constantly feeling like you're about to get a heart attack, if you're constantly feeling anxious, these are your signs. These are your indicators to say, hey, I need to do a reset. I need to not only identify, I need to also acknowledge, but I also need to take action. And I need to start taking action today. So I challenge you, friend, as you navigate, especially as a woman, if you have kids, you have a significant other, that you make sure that you are taking care of you. Because yes, you have the vision, you're building this beautiful business, but don't let the business take you out. Okay? I'm telling you, I was doing it all. A new mom for the second time, going to school for my master's program, master's degree, full-time military member, testing for promotion, buying a new house. Guess what? Your girl was in the ER. Your girl ended up with anxiety. Your girl ended up with vertigo. Okay? So I'm telling you from lived experience. So now that I'm retired, I make sure, and trust me, after that life experience, I made sure that I took care of myself. And this is what I'm going to be sharing in my upcoming book that I am going to be writing on how to build a resilient leader as you navigate life, career, and business. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to just bounce back. You want to be able to move forward in your business while taking care of you at the same time. Okay. Let me know if there are any questions before I go. Hopefully, you take these 3 things, and you might be like, Chevy, like I said, it's simple, but guess what? They're effective. Things does not have to be complicated. Remember, as long as you implement these things, you are going to be reducing your stress. You're going to be optimizing your mental performance, because now, guess what? You're not looking at what's not working. You're not overextending yourself. You're not burnt out. You're not looking like, oh my goodness, do I have to get up and do this again? You're looking at, man, this is a great day. I'm about to have a beautiful day in my business. I'm about to connect with my team. I'm about to get things done in my business without feeling not feeling overextended every single day. You're going to feel like, man, I have time for my kids. I got time for my 5-year-old, because some days she wears me out because she's high energy. And I'm like, I'm tired, but I'm not tired because I'm burnt out. I'm tired because she's like, hey, let's go to the park and spend 3 or 4 hours at the park. That's what you want as you're building this business that you love. So, friend, I invite you to join me if you are ready to get out of this state that you're in, if you're ready to get the support that you need from someone who has 22 plus years of military leadership and experience, education, training, background, to come in and help you to optimize how you run and lead in your business, to make sure that your team is developed so you can get your time back to focus on things that you know is going to thrive, going to be good for you, but also help you to scale your business to the next level that you're trying to get to. Okay. So if you're like, hey, Chevy, I need some assistant, then definitely reach out to me. You can send me a quick little DM, just drop in my DM, start a conversation, and bring me any question that you may have. Because for me, it's not just coming in and helping you to optimize your business, but also looking at the holistic approach, where we focus on your well-being as well, too, as the CEO of your business. All right. All right. Rochelle said, great discussion for us to hear. Congratulations on your book. Yes, ma'am. I'm excited. I've been saying this forever. So I'm finally glad that I'm pulling the trigger to go ahead, or pulling the thing. I don't want anyone to be like, oh my goodness, but pulling the thing to finally go ahead and create this book, because I know it's going to help a lot of women who are looking to become resilient leaders, not only in life, business, and career, but all 3. All right, friend. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm here every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time. And again, you can join me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and on my YouTube channel at Lead Like a CEO Show. Subscribe, of course. And if there are any questions for me, please drop them here. Let me know your takeaway in the comments, and hashtag replay if you're watching this later on. And thank you all so much for joining me today. And I hope you come back next Wednesday and have an amazing day as always, y'all. See y'all later.